Often the easiest route for hackers to gain access to your corporate data is through weak passwords. Let's review the options available to configure an Office 365 password expiration policy to help keep user accounts secure. We should first consider why it is important to have a password policy. The likelihood of a password being compromised increases with the amount of time that a password is in use. Your users will probably prefer never to change their passwords, but I'm sure you can appreciate that this is not a very safe idea, and therefore it's not recommended. We should configure Office 365 password policy to define how your users are forced to change their password periodically. With Office 365, you only have two settings to choose from. These are the All Passwords Never Expire or the option to select the number of days before passwords will expire. Using the Password and Never Expire option is not recommended for production environments. It may even be against your company's security policy, especially if your enterprise is regulated or audited. The only valid scenario where I've seen this policy used is within the training or test environment. By using the Expire Passwords option, you can set the number of days for the life of a password. By default, this is set to 90 days. 90 days is also the password expiration duration that the PCI Security Standards Council recommends. Emails are sent to users to warn them that their password needs to be changed 14 days before the password expires. A user can change their own password at any time before the expiry. Out of the box, Office 365 forces password complexity, which includes minimum 8-character password length and 3 out of the following 4 options: uppercase characters, lowercase characters, numbers, and special characters or symbols. You can disable password complexity for a user by using PowerShell, but this would allow users to use weak passwords, which is not a good thing. Let's drop onto our demo tenant and take a look at how to configure a password expiration policy. I'll need to sign into the admin center as a global administrator. Only the global administrator can modify password policy. On the left-hand menu, I'll click Show All, and then click Settings. Under Settings, I'll select Security and Privacy, and here we can see the password policy. On the right-hand side, I'll select Edit, and here we can see the only option is to set user passwords to never expire. This is currently configured to On. Let's disable this. This exposes 2 further options. We can configure the passwords to expire after a set number of days. The default is 90, and we can also send a user a notification prior to the expiration of the password. By default, this is set to 14 days. You can modify these settings or leave them as the default. I'll change the notification to 3 weeks and then click Save. And click Close. Here we can see the summary of the password policy in place for our tenant.